And here we are. As you see, we're right now looking at the scratch side. Practice is going on. As it's an interesting format now. We are using four lanes on the scratch side. And what this means is that there's going to be 2 matches going on in each pair compared to just one. I'm going to make this a little bit more interesting to where we can get the camera view on everyone while they bowl. And then down here on the low end, we have the handicap set, the quarterfinals going on, the practicing with Kayla Shimmer and Austin Easley. Now, looking at the handicap division, who do you feel like out of these two will make it to the next round?
If I had to pick someone, I would have to go with Austin Easley. We watched him early in the day. I know Kayla did bowl a good game there at the end to sneak in, but I think overall Austin so far has just had the better day, so I'd have to put my chips in his corner.
I think it's going to be an interesting match, but winner of this is going to be going on to play Spencer Robar again. We've been pretty much talking about him the whole time in the whole handicap, but Landon Richards is the unexpected number 1 seed, and he qualified last time in the MJT in the handicap division in the Final Four, and now this time he sits up at top as the number 1 seed. Definitely a big, confident feeling for him, but
he's got a slew of left-handers right behind him. We were talking about this pattern perhaps favoring left-handers, and 3 of the top 4 in handicap are all left-handed.
Yeah, but this is where we're very interested to see. And almost you called the one match. You said it was going to be Riley versus AJ, and that would be a very interesting match to see. I think all these matches we're looking at are going to be good. I think Ryan Patterson is going to give Mick Eaton a run, but I'm interested to see it. Mick at Kingpin was the number 1 seed, and he lost to the number 8 seed. Now this time, Mick is the number 8 seed. Do you think he can do what happened to him last month?
I know, speaking from Mick right after qualifying, he was a little surprised he had made it. So if he can get his emotions in check and just realize that we're on to top 8 and qualifying no longer matters and throw a couple of good shots, he's a pretty good bowler. I think he could give Ryan Patterson a run.
I think looking at these matches, it's all going to be a close match. It's going to come down to that second game, and it's going to be a nail-biter. As on the left side here, the handicap division is just about to get on their way, as Austin Easley is going to start off the match on lane 3. Misses a little left, leaving the 1-3-6. But one of the 2 lefties out in the handicap division, as the other 2-hander lefty is Spencer Robar, as he is the number 2 seed. So the lefties in the handicap division had a pretty good day qualifying, as both of them made it, as Austin Easley covers up the 7 spare. As for you people knowing, we're going to give you the handicap totals for each bowler. Austin Easley gets 51 pins handicap, while Kayla Shimmer, she gets 21 pins. And it's all based off of, I believe, an average off of 210. I think it's 80 or 85%, one of the two. So we'll add the totals up at the end here with the handicap and let you know who advances to round 2. As Kayla Shimmer gets a 9 count, the 7 pin to start off her first frame.
So with that, Austin has about a 3-mark lead, 2-mark lead, 30 pins. So
Yeah.
Kay will have to make that up somewhere here in the match.
And I think it's definitely doable, but all Austin needs to do is really focus on making good shots, making spares, and see whatever he can do to try to get ahead of Kayla.
Kayla comes out of the gate with a unfortunate single pin miss.
It looks like the scratch division's finishing up their practice rounds. as we're going to get rolling in the scratch division. Remember, on that side, it's the best 2 games, best total will advance, and when it comes to seeding, we will definitely get closer to informing you how this goes, because if it's a 1 versus 8, and you are the number 8 seed and you win, you are automatically qualified as the number 4 seed just because you're the lower seed. So the higher seed you are, if you win, you have a better chance of being 1-2. If you make the upset, you'll make it to the final 4, but you'll be probably qualified as one of the lower guys.
And Joey, take a second, explain the combo between the bracket final and the stepladder final. How does that work?
When I was first told about this, I was a little confused by it because I felt there was a little bit of a disadvantage if you were the number 1 seed, and if you're in the number 18, you beat the number 1 seed. I feel like depending on, it should be based on total. Let's say you shot 530, and out of everyone you were the number 1 seed, you should be number 1. But the way that Ricky's doing it, because he wants to make it more fair to where, let's say the 8 seed does advance like it happened last month, but the number 2 seed wins, since he was the higher seed going into it, he automatically gets the number 1 seed since he was higher going into it. It's a little confusing, but we'll understand it. I'm trying to say how I can word it to understand it for people that don't get it.
For the 4 winners of this match, the highest seeded winners of said match will fall into a stepladder, and whatever seed you are,
yeah. So
comparison to who's left.
Yes.
Okay.
So if say 1, 2, 3, and 4 do advance, that's how the stepladder finals is. The number 1 seeds 1, 2 seeds 2. Now, let's say the number 1 seed loses, 2 seed wins, 3 seed wins, and 4 seed wins. The number 8 seed would be the number 4 seed. So it's just based on where you're seated. The lower you are, that you're pretty much, if you're a low seed and you win, it's pretty much based on how the guys ahead of you finish. If the top guys finish and you're the low seed that won, you'll probably be either 3rd or 4th, depending on what all happens.
It sounds a little odd, but I kind of like it, because with your traditional match play, if an 8-seeded player who sneaks in barely beats the 1 seed, it's still unfortunate for the 1 seed, but now the 8 seed has all that momentum from the 1 seed, whereas in this format, that 8 seed has to climb all the way up the ladder after winning the bracket. So it's
still a challenge to make your way up there. As we're looking over to the handicap side, Austin easily leaving the 4-7, converting the spare easily. Now has a 7 spare, 8 spare, 8 spare, as Kayla Shimmer coming up here in the 3rd, working on the 9 open and then a 9 spare on her 2nd frame, as she's trying to get back into it. Definitely needs to start putting a run up to see if she can catch up to Austin with having the 51 pins handicap.
Well, Joey, we have 5 of the scratch pullers on pace to shoot 300 right now.
Yes, we do, and we're only through a frame or 2. Kayla Shimmer over on lane 4 getting a strike, trying to get herself back in here. A double will definitely help. As you see Mick Eaton on lane 9 going Brooklyn, leaving the 5-9. As Ben Pallardy coming up on lane 10. And here comes Riley Smith up on lane 12. He's going to work on a double in the 2nd frame. But indeed he does, and so does Kyla Shimmer. She puts a double up, and that's definitely going to get her back into the match. I think this handicapped match is going to be interesting, especially with them getting the handicap pins. When I first heard of this, I was expecting none of the handicap total, the actual handicap, to carry over. I thought it would just be scratch. But I feel like adding the handicap still helps because it gives the people who do need the handicap, it makes it more challenging and a more interesting match.
Yeah, and I'm appreciative because you don't see very much match play style handicap.
No, you don't.
That's one of the experiences that takes a while to get used to, because qualifying honestly isn't that much different than league play. You're bowling in an atmosphere around people. You're just putting up scores and you keep going. Match play takes it a step further. You have heightened mental game, heightened pressure, and that's really where you need to excel if you want to, become something in the college world or beyond that.
Yes. As Austin easily up on lane 4, as you saw him miss that 7 count getting 2, as he comes up on lane 3 to try to bounce back.
Oh, great shot.
Indeed he does, and he'll get all 10. Now, if you're Kayla and you're working on a double and you see someone open, does that being a bowler, does that motivate you to
It
really
has to. It has to.
to try to get this next one and just nut it?
And it's almost it's a fine line, because if you see your opponent open, they always say, the pros, you walk up and you step on the throat. But when you see that opening, you have to not try to throw it better, especially if you're throwing it good, because all trying to throw it better is going to do is force some mechanical error, or force some muscle-based error in your game. And as you just saw there, Miss Shimmer did not have any of those problems and threw a beautiful turkey.
And she does get the turkey up. That's definitely going to help her in the game, because like we said, she's pretty much what you said. She's a couple marks down if you adding the handicap together. So she comes up in the 6th frame here, working on 3 in a row. This strike here will definitely help, especially with Austin trying to come up and try to put a double up. She comes high and she trips the 4-pin forward.
And right now it looks like, handicap included, she is, I want to say, down 3 in that match.
Well, right now the total that she's at is at 119. So if you add her 21 pins, that's 140 right now. And then Austin, on the other hand, has the 51 pins. He's at a 72. Right now he's below, but Kayla is still a frame ahead. So technically, like you said, Austin is just a little bit ahead. So this strike, he must get a double. It would help. He comes up light and gets the bucket.
Very makeable spare. Very makeable spare.
Oh, yeah. As we got a couple interesting games down there on 11 and 12. As I believe that's Austin and Kyle right now are battling it with each other, and they both have the front 4. We've never had a tiebreaker for 2 games, but I'm just saying 600 can be possible.
I would sure like to see it.
That would be pretty amazing. Put that one on YouTube. Not saying that I called that or anything, but
I would give you full props if you did.
AJ Johnson coming up on 11, missing light, leaving the 2-8-10. Is Ben Pallardy up on lane 9, converting the 6-pin. Now Riley has a chance to come up on 12, even though he washed out, to convert this and keep himself in the game, as Austin easily goes Brooklyn and gets the strike. So he's keeping himself in the game.
Right.
Going the strike 7 spare strike. All he's going to have to hope is that Kayla kind of has a bad frame, but the way she's throwing the ball right now, it doesn't look like she's going to.
Oh, no. 3 great shots followed up by that one lucky trip of the 4-pin. Let's see what she does next.
It comes up light, leaving the bucket. But she should definitely be happy, because I have always said once you get a lucky strike, you want to take it and run with it. And you want to make your next shot and execute a good shot if you can.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't too bad of a shot. It looked very similar to Mr. Easley's shot, actually, and just kind of flooded on her there at the end. So let's hope she runs this in.
That's Austin Aud down there on lane 12, coming a little high, leaving the 6-pin. And Kyle Sherman now has a chance to jump in the lead as Kayla Shimmer converts the bucket.
Kyle looking to drop the nickel.
For 5 in a row. And a 10-pin. That's well, I didn't call the 600, but hey.
And folks, Joey pointed out everyone was striking, then they stopped.
Armando coming up, leaving the baby split. As Kayla Shimmer up on lane 3 in the 8th. A strike here will get her right back into the game.
Needs it to roll up.
coming light, leaving the 3-7. That's as a bowler, when that happens, especially this late in the game, knowing it's this close, what is your like? What's going through your mind?
It's very difficult not to freak out. If you're a bowling nerd and you like throwing backup balls, you pull one out. Otherwise, you just try to bring it back down and give it the best run you can.
Oh,
and
she spares it. She keeps the game alive.
See, I'm talking about it being hard and emotional, and she's just like, I got this, guys. I got this.
Must be a lefty thing. So that spare definitely keeps her in the match, and that this is gonna go. Like I said, this match is gonna come down to the wire.
If Austin Easley does not strike here, it is a one-pin match.
Wow, this is gonna be a match. As looks like it's coming Brooklyn, as it's the 4-7. So he needs a.
If Easley converts here, he will have 142 in the 7th. I'm sorry, 122 in the 7th. And Kayla will have a 153 in the 7th. Kayla having 30 more handicap makes it a one-pin game. Kayla has 21.
Yeah.
Austin has 51. So the
Because
difference.
Austin will convert the spare. That's a big spare, and now he's going to try to come up in the 9th, see if he can get a strike to put the pressure on Kayla Shimmer. As that split was pretty big on her part. That definitely kept this match very close and very interesting. This looks a little left, and it leaves the 1-3-9. So the ball really didn't roll up.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse.
As Ben Pallardy over on lane 9, coming a little high, almost tripping the 4-pin, but it decides to stand. As Kyle Sherman coming up on lane 12 against his own teammate Austin Audie, who is on lane 11. As Kyle
and he carries.
gets the 9-pin out.
Great spare by Austin
As
Easley.
Austin Easley makes the spare, so it's definitely going to put some pressure back on Kayla. Now, I'm interested to see how she's going to bounce back with leaving that 3-7, if she's going to make a move or
She's gone light twice, if I remember.
execute a better shot.
If she doubles here, she can pretty much put the match away.
This will definitely help. As that's a
Great.
strike right there. That's going to keep it interesting. Now a big 10th frame for her, and she'll secure the win.
We've got 4 9s flying everywhere over there in scratch.
As Ryan Patterson comes up, puts 3 in a row. As Mick strikes, he'll have an 11-pin lead over Mick Eaton. And indeed, it's an 11-pin lead for Ryan Patterson as Kayla comes up. Comes high and leaves the 4-pin. So this 4-pin spare will definitely help. Looking over on lane 11, AJ Johnson coming up. Gets the strike, puts the double up on the board, trying to get back in it.
With a spare here and a good count, Kayla will force Austin Easley to double in the 10th.
And indeed she does. Armando up on lane 9, coming a little light, leaving the 2-pin. As we definitely have some interesting matches on the scratch side. It's an 11-pin difference between the number 1 and 8 seed Ryan Patterson and Mick Eaton. And looking at the match between Ben Pallardy and Armando, if they both spare, Armando is going to have a 12-pin advantage into the 6th frame.
And she does get enough count.
She does get enough.
So here's how it sits, folks, down the handicap division. Austin Easley, 2 strikes to move on.
Kayla shot 212, adding the 21 pins to 233. Now Austin definitely needs 2. Here's the first shot. Comes through the face, leaving the 6'10". And that's going to do it for Austin. But, I don't think that's going to be the last time we see this kid.
Oh, no.
We'll probably be seeing him a lot more. Did an amazing job. Stayed up in the top 4 all day. And he shouldn't be disappointed.
It's fun to watch. Good attitude. Couple of good
Absolutely.
scores. Good spare.
Oh, yeah. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll come out and he'll definitely win one of these things. I'll put money on it. He's improving every time I see this kid. Every time I see him bowl, he improves every time. So he will be a force to reckon with.
He is definitely using the correct hand.
Yes, indeed. So Mick Eden comes up on 10, gets the carry, but fouls again. Another foul. That might hurt
It's not
him.
his first one today.
No. Ryan Patterson converts the 9 spare.
And that 0 on a string of strikes hurts even more.
Absolutely. So, looking back over to the handicap, a 167 is finished off for Austin Easley. Adding the 51 pins, it's about 227. So 227 to 233. Very good match between the two. But like we said, he needed the double just to secure it. As Mick Eden actually comes back up and converts his foul spare.
So over here in handicap next, we're going to see Kayla Shimmer advancing to face Spencer Robarge.
It's going to be an interesting match. 2 lefties. One one-handed, one two-handed.
One female, one male.
Who's the winner? You decide. Coming up right now in lane 12 is Kyle Sherman, working on a double. And washes out with the 1-2-4-10. Armano coming up on lane 10 and puts it in there. And see right now, if Pallardy converts this, has a 2-pin lead now going into the 8th. Indeed he does. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it over to the scratch division right now. As the handicap is getting their warm-up shots in. We'll bring it back once they start.
Big washouts.
I said big washout conversion for Austin All to keep his game clean and keep it close between him and Kyle Sherman. Ryan Patterson definitely puts a strike up. Now Mick's got to make sure that he gets right back on that run he had. As Kyle does not convert the washout, as we got a match down there. Kyle right now has a 183 in the 8th. Austin with a 159 in the 7th. Strike off Austin will definitely get him right back into this match. AJ Johnson leaving a 10-pin, and here comes Mick to try to keep it close.
Crosses over.
Doesn't like it.
And this double match on 9 and 10 is kind of interesting because the top 2 bowlers here are, within 20, and if Ryan Patterson strikes out, he's looking at a 240, and Mick can punch for 220. But then the 2 right below him are, it's
Really?
a 2-pin match, but they're struggling. They're almost 40 behind. So
We are given here prize money sheets. Handicap top 3 payoff. 3rd place is $60, so you get more than your money back. 2nd place is $100, and 1st place is $200. Into the scratch division, top 5 get paid. 5th place gets 65. 4th place gets 75. 3rd gets 105. 2nd place gets 145. As 1st place is $290. That's still some good prize money. Or if you're in a sanction as adult, that's just good money to have in your pocket.
yeah, and I like that these are open not just to youth bowlers, but to any bowler under the age of 21. Because I know a couple out there, Joey Dolan's, for instance, or there's several of them, but that just for this reason or that couldn't stay or didn't stay youth, but still want to be involved in the youth bowling scene.
Oh yeah. As it looks like the handicap match is about to get started. As Spencer is going to get the choice of lane, since he choice who goes first and all that. It's kind of a little bit hard to see. As they're not on 3 and 4, they're on 5 and 6. So they would be appearing a little bit farther off the screen, as it looks like Kayla is going to start as she will bowl the first ball in lane 6. Now this is going to be interesting here. Down on 11, you see Kyle Sherman getting ready after washing out. A strike here will definitely keep him in the lead. Indeed, he does. Now Austin Audie needs to come up. A strike here would keep him about 4 pins back of Kyle going into the 10th. Comes a little high, leaving the 3-6, so he's still in the match, and there's still one more game. It's better if you're losing. The best thing to do is to try to stay close and keep this an interesting game.
So do you know what's like the biggest comeback in MJT? Any ideas?
I'd have to say actually last month. I think it was Jeffrey Thompson. I believe that's what his last name was. He qualified as the number 8 seed.
Knowlton. Was it Jeremy Knowlton?
Yes, that's my fault. Jeremy Knowlton. He came in as the number 8 seed, beat Mick, who was the number 1 seed, and worked all of his way up to the final match where, unfortunately, he lost to Philip Meyer. I feel like out of all the ones that I broadcasted, that's the biggest comeback. But it was also one of the biggest final matches that was pretty big to broadcast with. As here comes Kayla up on lane 6. I actually messed it up. Spencer started off first on lane 5, and he gets a strike. And here comes Kayla, try to answer back on 6. She leaves a smash 7-pin.
AJ down on lane 12. Checks and trips a 3-pin, slapping it out for a nice strike.
That's going to get him right back in it. Looks like it's going to be about 17 pins down from Riley going into the 10th. And it's a 6-pin difference between Austin Audie and Kyle Sherman going into the 10th.
Austin Audie's trying to get back on it here. Started with a nice string of strikes, but hasn't struck since the 4th frame. Still clean, looking to strike.
It's Kayla Shimmer right there. Missing the 7-pin, so that's a 9 open. And we'll remind you, Kayla Shimmer gets 21 pins handicap, while Spencer Robarg gets 26. So he's got a 5-pin advantage in the handicap. But advantages really don't mean anything, as we just saw last match. Ben Pallery, though, coming up in the 9th, going for this 10-pin. If he converts this will put him 4 pins behind Armando, but Armando working with a strike going into the 10th.
Kyle delivers
a beautiful shot as Austin leaves a 9-pin. So it looks like Kyle's going to get the first match. We're going to try to write these down so we can get the scores before they even hand them to us. I lost my sheet. There it is. As Austin converts to spare. Here comes Ryan Patterson up on lane 10. First ball in the 10th coming high for the baby split, leaving the 3-10. And now this could be interesting. If he opens here, Mick Eaton can definitely punch out for a 205, and that's going to get this game right back into it. As here comes Spencer up on lane 6, going Brooklyn, getting it out, putting up a double against Kayla. Here comes Mick's first shot. Coming high once again, leaving the 3-6.
Mick seems to be having some trouble getting lane 9 under control. Every shot seems to be taken off really early on him.
We're going to get a replay here of Kyle's last shot. And from down here, it looked good. So we'll get a better view from behind. As Spencer comes up and puts 3 in a row up against Kayla, who goes open. So that's putting the pressure on her right now. Robarg looking to come out and win this. And here's the replay of Kyle Sherman's last shot. A beautiful shot. As Ryan Patterson gets the strike, and that's going to give him a 216 game. Now, all Mick Eaton can do if he punches out is a 180, But that's if he doesn't foul. Looking down on the end, Audie had a 214 game, while Kyle Sherman put up a 243 game. So a little, not really out of range. Still, anything can happen, especially with one more game. That's the nice thing about the 2-game total. Mick Eaton here goes Brooklyn, leaving the 10 pin for a 184 game. Now Riley Smith here has a chance to jump against AJ Johnson. Riley working on a double. Trips the 4. And that's going to extend his lead over to AJ Johnson. AJ can spare here and strike for a 191 max, as Riley, on the other hand, can shoot 234 if he punches out. Armando coming up in the 9th, on lane 9 with strikes with a double, and that's going to put him in front of Ben Pallardy. Pallardy with an 8 count. He can spare strike for a max of 170.
Spencer down here in handicap starts with the front 4. Just perfectly split the 8-9 on that last shot.
As Pallardy converts to spare. So 170 max if he punches out. Armando working on the 11th frame with a double. Max score of 196 as this is going left. And he gets the carry as Spencer comes high, leaving the 2-4. So the front 4 for Spencer, followed by an 8 count. So this is going to be definitely a big start now. Kayla definitely needs to start putting up a run just to try to get herself back into this game, especially with already being down the 5 pins in handicap.
Riley followed up that trip 4 with a trip 2-8.
As AJ throws his next shot with a 10 pin. As Ben Pallardy shoots 170 to finish off his first game. As Armando will punch out for a 196. AJ Johnson finishes the first game off with a 190. While Riley Smith is going to come up, see if he can get this next one. Looks like he might be making a ball change. Indeed so. Comes out and strikes, and he shoots, I believe, 234?
Correct.
All right. Could do my math. I was looking over in the handicap division. Kayla Schimmer going with the Greek Church. And she's really starting to struggle, especially this game. Going 9 open, 6-3 strike, 8 open, Greek Church. And she'll cover the 3. So right now it's 116 for Spencer in the 5th, while Kayla has a 52 in the 5th.
Stranger things have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Stranger things have happened. I will say I find it really funny. The scoring monitors here show you how to convert the spares you've left, and on the splits they make it look so easy.
I actually enjoy that. I think it does make it look easy, but I always like it because it helps educate people who really have a hard time bowling. As there's a shot by Austin Odd on 14 coming up late, leaving the bucket, as we have the difference as Kayla Schimmer misses a 3-pin. And here's the difference in the pin total. It's that Mick Eaton goes Brooklyn 5-pin. It's a 32-pin difference between Ryan Patterson and Mick Eaton. A 26-pin difference between Armando and Ben Pallardy. 29-pin difference between Kyle Sherman and Austin Odd. And a 44-pin difference between Riley Smith and AJ Johnson.
Spencer just smiles away at Brooklyn there on lane 6.
I feel like he knows that right now, the way he's bowling. And even with how the score is turning out, he's pretty much safe and secured going into the final match. I don't see him losing this game unless he gets disqualified. Comes up on the first shot, coming a little high, leaving the 2-7, so still not bad.
So when you're in a match like this, where you have a sizable lead, but you have a few errant shots, do you just try to bowl it out and guarantee yourself the win, or do you try a few things, see what's going to work for the next match?
I still do what I'm doing because I feel like anything can happen, even if it's this late in the game. A lot can happen in 3-4 frames, so I'll still do everything I can, and once it gets to the 10th, if I can get a fill ball, that's when I'll make the change. It's AJ Johnson coming up on lane 11 and leaving a high 4. So right now the closest match between everyone is Armando and Ben Pallardy, and that's a difference of 26 pins. The biggest difference is Riley and AJ, and Riley has a 44 pin advantage. As Mick Eaton throwing a strike up there.
So none of these differences are too bad, but we also don't have any in the single digits.
Exactly, yeah. As here comes Kayla Shimmer up on 6, trying to shoot the 4-7.
Clip it.
And she converts it.
That should be a high night, or a high spot on an otherwise strugglesome game. Bowling's funny like that.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't need it, you seem to get it every time.
Sounds about right. Down on lane 12 is Austin Odd. It's a flat 10 pin for him as Kayla Shimmer puts a strike up after that as Armando chopping his spare. Goes 8-1 in the second.
I also like about these double matches is that only 2 of them are going to finish at the same time, so we'll at least get to stop and watch the finish of each match individually.
Yeah. There's Robarg coming a little high, leaving an 8 pin, going to convert the spare. As we here have an interesting thing we were just given. We were looking, most people were wondering what the jersey is that Robarg is wearing. Because on the front there's a photo of a Chevy, and on the back of his jersey it's number 57. As the number 57 on Spencer's jersey is representative of his grandfather, who unfortunately who passed away in June. He owned 3 different 57 Chevys, and Spencer was left with the red Chevy, which is why his jersey is red. Facts about his grandpa are on his sleeve. Cool fact: the stock number of the Gemini jersey is number 57. I think that's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
I'm just saying I want his Chevy though. I'll find a way to get that Chevy, but
that's actually interesting. I know his older stepbrother Blake Demore has a very similar blue jersey, so
I think it's really interesting to see someone do that, especially his grandfather must have made a huge impact on him, and to represent the shirt with representing his grandpa, it's huge, and it's an unfortunate loss that they had happen back in June, but I'm glad to see that he's moving on from the past. It's still hard, but I'm glad that he's representing for his grandpa.
And it is kind of cool to see with today's bowling jerseys and shirts and how you kind of get to put some of your own style that he chose to reflect someone like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's amazing. As Kayla Shimmer coming up here on lane 5 to finish off the 10th frame. Coming out light, leaving the 3 pin. But as we already see that Spencer is going to advance to the final round. And from there, he will be bowling Landon Richards for the top prize of $200. As Landon Richards gets 72 pins handicap. So that's going to be an interesting match.
Mick Eaton tripping the 9 pin going Brooklyn to string a double.
Woo!
Really kind of fall in love with those trip 9 Brooklyns.
We've seen a lot of those trip 9.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. As Armando leaving a wrap 10. Now Ben Pallardy here has a chance if he puts a strike up He'll still be even with Armando, but that strike will give him the advantage if he can put a double up following it. Kyle Sherman down there on lane 12, leaving the 10 pin. You see he's got a little bit of pin advantage this game over Austin Odd, as Ben Pallardy does put a strike up. Spencer goes. Robarg goes Brooklyn, and that will definitely secure a win.
He is nothing but smiles right now.
Nothing but smiles. As Armando misses the 10 pin in the third frame. He walked that one out. He thought he had a good shot there. As he's going to go for the 7 count. As he will easily advance into the next round. As Spencer Robarg will be going up against Landon Richards in the finals match here at Frontier Lanes for the Handicap division. We're going to bring you back over to the scratch. Here's Mick Eaton up on lane 10, working on a double. Indeed, he gets it. So that's 3 in a row for Mick, as Ryan Patterson working on strike and 2 8 spares in a row. The difference between Mick and Ryan is that Ryan has the 32 pin advantage of him over game 1.
Right now, Mick is actually only down 10 total if they were to both strike out.
And it gets out the 9 pin, so Ryan Patterson puts up a 58 in the third.
And with Armando's last 2 open frames, the difference between Armando and Ben Pallardy is a mere handful of sticks.
See, that's a plus part about having someone that knows how to do math in the booth, is that I can't do that stuff.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I could. That's just a lot of thought process. It's Kyle Sherman coming a little high, leaving the 4-7, as Armando does the same, but unfortunately leaves his 6-7, and that's gonna be a tough one. This is the chance where Pallardy needs to come up and try to put a double up. It's Austin Audie puts a double up against Kyle Sherman down on lane 12.
Unless Armando can convert this, that's going to be 3 open frames in a row, and Ben throws up a double.
And the only way I could describe Ben's shot was a rocket to the pocket. And that's what I've been told a lot that I do. But throwing that melee out there, so he's making it look really good. As Armando coming up to try to convert the 6-7. And he only converts the 6 pin. And here comes Mick stepping up on lane 9. This strike could be a big one. Definitely get him out in that lead a little bit farther, as AJ Johnson strikes on 12 to put a double up against his opponent Riley Smith.
Let's see if Mick can get back on the right side of the pocket here. Looks better.
Looks better, as indeed it is, as he puts up a 4 in a row. Here comes Riley Smith up on lane 11. Strike here would definitely keep him tied with AJ Johnson through 4.
And going into this game, Riley had the largest margin over his opponent at 44 pins. So
and he tugged it, leaving the 3-9. Here comes Ryan Patterson up on lane 10. Cuts that one out and comes back and puts a double up. So he's still keeping it close against Mick Eaton, as Armando is up on lane 9. Time to come back into this match.
You got me excited earlier. I really want to see a roll-off now.
As it looks like the final match for the handicap division has started, as Spencer Robarg starts off with a strike. As up now is Landon Richards, bowled at the Kingpin MJT last month, qualified in the top 4. I believe he finished 3rd. Now he's right back into the finals, so that's a big jump for him. As Riley going for the 3-9, only gets the 3-pin. As here comes Ben Pallardy going for the 9 count. This 9 spare will definitely help keep him in front. As Landon Richards gets the spare, as we remember, as just a reminder, Landon gets 72 pins handicap, while Spencer Robarg only gets 26 pins. So we'll see when we add up our total what the difference is going to be between it. Here comes Austin Aud down on lane 11, coming high, leaving the 3-6 off of double. And now it's actually looking pretty interesting down there. Kyle's going to have a 4-pin lead over Austin, but Kyle has a strike. And then AJ working in on double going into the 5th. Has a 279 pace going, while Riley struggling with an open in the 4th as Mick comes up in the 6th and gets another one.
Yeah, for the most part down there, the players who were behind a little bit have all but made up those differences
And
now.
Austin converts. Tell me you saw that.
I saw it.
Taking out the 6-pin, bounces out of the pit, rolls around and gets the 3. Unbelievable. That's how you know you got carry.
That was fantastic.
And Ryan Patterson tugging that one, leaving the 6-9-10. So that's going to make this game a little bit more interesting, with Mick only being down 32 pins off the last game. That might just make him jump up in front now in overall total. As Ryan Patterson bounce backs on it. Armando trying to come up for a double, coming high.
Leaves the very awkward
6-8 as a right-hander. As Ryan Patterson converts the bucket.
All right, you're in Armando's seat right now. You come into the match with a slight lead, but you've split 3 out of 5. Do you go for the split? What do you do?
In this part, you have to. I say when it comes to the roll-off, it's time to start going for the actual marks. Because if you can get it, then you get the bonus pins. If not, at least get one. As Landon Richards down there puts up a double up against Spencer Robarg. Robarg right now has got a 2 double and 8 spare, while Landon goes 7 spare double. Pallardy coming high, leaving a 10-pin, is Austin Aud coming down in the end pair. Big shot for him, leaving a washout. Leaving the 1-2-4-10. And Landon, leaving the 8-10. Kyle Sherman coming up on lane 11 could possibly put up a double and extend his lead over Austin Audi. Coming high, tripping the 4-pin forward.
Good enough.
As he puts a double up on the board, as here comes Ben Pallardy to try to convert the spare. Indeed he does. Now, the way that Armando is bowling, definitely needs to try to turn this game around, but as like Ben's case, the main goal is just to try to keep sparing, which indeed he is. And Austin converts the washout with a pin bouncing off the back. Now he just went 2 spares in a row where something jumped out of the back and got it.
Somebody is helping him out.
Someone back there, he's paying someone to do it. As Spencer puts up another strike as he gets right back into it.
But even with those unconventional spare conversions, he's still trailing in the match.
Riley Smith walking it out, leaving the 3-6-7-10. As AJ Johnson now has a chance to expand his lead, as Spencer leaves a 10-pin. Ryan Patterson coming high, leaving the 3-pin, as Mick Eaton now has the chance to try to extend this lead in this game and possibly even the match.
And
AJ Johnson bones a 9-pin. Oh man, that pin just bounced right around it.
Mick is looking to bounce back from this minus 32 pin deficit that he started the game with. However, he's trying to avenge his fall as the top seed from the last tournament.
As Landon Richards puts up a strike, bouncing back from that 8 open. Coming high, leaving the 4 pin. So he goes 9 spare, next 5, 4 pin. Is now looking down there in the high end, down 11 and 12. Even if Riley converts this split, AJ Johnson has now taken the lead over Riley Smith. So Riley will take 3 off the right. Kyle Sherman down on lane 12, working on a double as Ryan Patterson converts this spare. Big spare here for Mick to keep himself into the game. As Kyle Sherman puts another one up as he's going to extend his lead over Austin Audi.
Good spare by Mick.
Good spare. So 159 for Mick in the 6th and a 124 for Ryan Patterson. As Ben Pallardy comes up and strikes, put 116 in the 6th, while Zamardo has a 74 in the 6th. Austin Audi down on lane 11, coming high, leaving the 6 pin. As we take a look down here on the handicap side, Spencer Robard coming up on lane 3, working on a strike, possible double. And indeed he does. Now here comes Landon Richards, working off a 9 spare going into the 7th. As Riley Smith puts up a strike down on lane 12 to try to keep himself close to AJ Johnson.
And in handicap, for Spencer to win, Spencer will have to defeat Landon by 46 pins.
So that bucket that Landon left, that might bring this match actually pretty close now. Getting back pretty interesting. I don't know what to say to that, but Mick just carried the world on that shot. That's gonna keep him. That's gonna keep him up there. Here comes Ryan Patterson as he bones a 9 pin.
And that's just it's gotta hurt. Watch your opponent go up and get a little bit of carry, and then you go up there and deliver what looked like one of the best shots of the match and stone a 9 pin.
Landon Richards missing his first shot right, leaving the 1-2 up in the 8th frame. AJ Johnson dead flush, 10 back in the pit. Here comes Armando trying to put up a double. Coming high, leaving the 3-6-9. Ryan Patterson to convert the spare, which indeed he does. And Landon Richards converts to the 1-2. Austin Aud leaving the PBA wash out the 1-2-4-10. As he had an open last frame, as he's trying to get back into this match to catch up to Kyle Sherman, who right now has 3 in a row.
Yeah, unfortunately, even with the little help he got on the spares, it's looking like he's not going to be able to come back in this one.
As Kyle puts up 4 in a row now. Spencer coming a little high, leaving the 2-4-7-8. This is going to be an interesting way to see how he picks this. And it could be crucial too, because this could be big. And he takes off 2.
And Austin Audi with another interesting spare conversion.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but I think I heard everyone's reaction just go, "Oh, are you kidding?"
And of course, that's how it's drawn up in the textbooks, folk. For those of you watching, that is how you're supposed to pick all of those spares.
As Spencer goes 10 in the pit, 10 back, throwing an unbelievable ball. So he sets up a strike in the 9th, as Landon Richards has a chance to possibly extend his lead, if I'm correct with the handicap. This looks good off his hand, and he leaves a 5-8. So a spare here will definitely be big if he can cover this up. As he's gonna grab his ball and get set for the next shot. As Mick Eaton leaving the 6-9 as Ryan Patterson has a chance to
Desperately needs a strike.
And indeed he does. As Landon Richards misses the 5-8. So now he's going to walk up into the 10th here. And there's still a chance out there.
Oh, yeah. Spencer, to win the match, will need to win by 46 pins. Currently, he has a 35-pin lead. Excuse me, 25. 25.
As that one's right off the hand. And it only takes 5 off, leaving the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking down the high end, Kyle Sherman with 4 in a row. Makes it 5. It looks like he's throwing that new LT48.
Made by
Brunswick. As Ben Pallardy throws the melee, which is also Brunswick, puts up 3 in a row, leading into the 10th frame.
And Landon opens back-to-back in the 9th and 10th, giving Spencer a chance to step up and win.
Spencer has a chance now. Armando here working with a 102 in the 8th, trying to put up just a strike. And Spencer needs the first one. If he can get this first one, coming high, leaving the 4-7.
Yeah, to win the match, Spencer would have needed to win by 46 pins, and the difference right now, 46 onto that 61 would be 207. Spencer only has 2-0 even left.
As he converts the spare.
So down in our scratch finals here, our semifinals, it's down to the 10th frame with 26, he gets 72.
Okay. As he throws a 7 count, which is going to finish off with a 197. And from the way it looks like Landon Richards is going to be your 2014 Frontier Handicap Champion. As AJ Johnson down on lane 11. Gets 10 in the pit, and that's going to put 3 in a row coming up into the 10th. This is big. We got a big match here between Mick and Ryan Patterson. Ryan needs a strike. Gets it, puts a double up, and we got an interesting match here. Now Mick at least needs to cover this, and Ryan for sure needs to put a double. Needs this next one.
Mick was down 32 pins going in.
As Mick will finish with a 227.
And Ryan Patterson will advance.
Yes, he will.
Down on 11 and 12. Kyle Sherman is wrapping up, but he also looks like he will advance.
Kyle Sherman, from the way it looks, he will advance. He will be the number 2 seed. Landon Richards will definitely get him in the booth. So now it's going to be interesting to see what happens here between Ben Pallardy, Armando, and then AJ and Riley. That's going to be a match to see what all goes on there. Yeah. As Ryan Patterson finishes off with a 220 game, it'll be enough. So Ryan Patterson, the number 1 seed in the roll-off, continues to be the number 1 seed into the step final in the step ladder.
And Armando here is just trying to get as many pins as he can and try to put some kind of pressure on Ben.
So we already know Ryan Patterson and Kyle Sherman will advance as the number 1 and number 2 seed. Now it's just going to be a battle to see who's got the number 3 and who's got number 4. From the way that, if my math is right, Armando can only shoot a 152 if he punches out, but Pallardy needs this first one at least. Coming a little light, leaving the 2-8. Now let's see if my math, if it's mathematically possible.
Just a mark, not even a mark.
So he puts up 3 in a row and finishes with a 152.
A solid finish, but Ben has enough count here to make up the 26 pins he was behind, and Ben Pallardy will advance.
Ben Pallardy taking out the 8 pin off that, as he will finish with a 202. As Ben Pallardy will advance into the next round. Pallardy was the number 3 seed, so he will continue to be the number 3 seed. Now it's a battle between AJ and Riley. Who's going to be the number 4? And Riley can only shoot 170 from the way it looks. AJ's got the back 4, as it was a 44 pin difference. And from the way that looks, it looks like AJ's going to wrap that one up too.
So, folks, to recap, we have Kyle Sherman advancing over Austin Audie. We have Ben Pallardy advancing over Armando. We have Ryan Patterson edging Mick Eaton. And it's looking like A.J. Johnson is going to advance over Riley Smith.
So the way this is going to set up now, A.J. Johnson's going to be your number 4 seed. He will be going up against Ben Pallardy, the number 3 seed. Winner of that will be bowling Kyle Sherman, and the winner of that will be playing Ryan Patterson for the championship match. So in a little bit, we're going to be bringing a couple bowlers into the booth. We're going to be bringing both Landon Richards, the winner of the handicap division, and Spencer Robarg. Definitely want to talk with both of those, especially Spencer and Alden. So AJ wraps up the 10th, as we're going to get both the bowlers in here. We're going to bring in our first guest, Spencer Robarg. We'll get you put on the headset right there. Switch the camera views here. Here's your mic.
All right.
Spencer, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Congratulations. Say second place, still pretty good. How did you feel your performance was today?
I felt my performance was pretty good today. Had a couple of bad shots here and there, but
other than that, watching you bowl, how old are you actually?
I'm 11.
11. Okay, yeah. At the age of 11, I couldn't do what you're doing right now. So I applaud you, and I'm expecting big things out of you, especially later on down the road. You throw the ball amazing. We realized what your shirt meant. Do you want to go into a little more detail about that?
Sure. Well, I guess we'll start with this. In April of 2012, my grandpa was diagnosed with colon and liver cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very fond of cars.
Yeah.
Particularly old cars.
Mm-hmm.
So this was his favorite car, a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. And he said, "You can have this one." My brother got one, and one of my cousins got one. And then in June of 2012, the 28th, we lost him.
I'm sorry to hear about that. I know how cancer is. My grandma right now is actually diagnosed with lung and liver cancer, so it's definitely rough. We definitely feel sorry, and we grieve for the family. But I personally applaud everything you do. The shirt is amazing. Your bowling style is amazing. You're probably going to go out to junior gold. You're going to make junior team and all that. I'm going to see you in the future. You're going to be on tour. You're going to be one of those kids that I'm going to say, hey, I know that kid. I saw him bowl the MJT. But we expect to see a lot more out of you. Brandon, do you got anything that you want to say?
No, man. I was very impressed. Spencer, we've met a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm liking the two-handed left-handed side a little bit better.
Yeah.
You look really good out there, my friend.
Last style was not too good.
I mean, you scored, but I like this style better. You threw up a lot of good strikes, and you almost pulled out. You coming back?
Yeah. I can't make the next one because I have state tournament, but I will definitely be coming back sometime.
That's understandable, but hey, I'd like to congratulate you again. Thank you for coming out, and we will definitely be seeing you in the future.
All right. Thank you.
That was Spencer Robarg. As next, we're going to be bringing in Landon Richards, who was the champion of the handicap division. So we'll get him in the booth. Says, no problem. We're going to be waiting as they get all the scratch stuff set up. We're going to be bringing in the champion right here. Landon Richards coming to join the booth. You want to put the headset on and take the mic?
Hey, Landon. How's it going?
Yeah, here. You can take the mic. You good?
Yeah.
You need to adjust this at all or anything?
Uh,
You can adjust it, dude. You're fine. First off, congratulations on winning the MJT here at Frontier Lanes. How does it feel to come out victorious?
pretty good.
Said you bowled the last one at Kingpin, right? And where did you finish on that one? Third?
I'm not really sure.
Personally, I think you did an awesome job today. How did you feel bowling wise? Like, how did you feel coming out and bowling this? Like, especially winning. Like, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
That's good. Do you got anything that you would like to mention or ask him?
Yeah. How long have you been bowling, and why? What prompted you to bowl something of this difficulty, something on a sport shot like this?
I don't know. I really like the bowl.
I don't blame you. I think we all do. Brandon? No, Landon. I'm sorry about that. Landon, congratulations on winning the MJT, and we'll definitely be seeing you in the future.
All right.
That wraps up the handicap division slot. We are going to be turning our attention here to the final four that's going to be taking place here right in front of us. Bowling in the first match, we have A.J. Johnson versus Ben Pallardy. So we're going to play a little video while they're warming up.